Hi, and welcome to Let's Talk About Real Estate podcast, the podcast for real estate agents absolutely everywhere. I'm Lisa B, and during this podcast, we're going to be talking about everything real estate. What's working, what's not working, AI, automation, technology, EXP Realty, and absolutely everything to do with real estate. I'll have guest speakers as well, where we'll answer your questions from the Facebook group, Let's Talk About Real Estate. So if you haven't joined the Facebook group, make sure you do that now, and we'd be happy to help answering any question. And again, welcome to the show. Welcome to this week's Let's Talk About Real Estate podcast. I have my very special guest, Terri Cooper. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Well, I'm excited. First podcast with you and me.
Our first podcast together. So what our theme is golden nuggets, isn't it? So it's golden nuggets of information. And our topic today is going to be prospecting and withdrawn from sale prospecting.
Yes.
So tell everybody about your book. Can you show your book?
Okay,
so
sure.
We've got a couple of resources for people. So people that are on video.
It's upside down.
That's all right. So this is a book that Terri co-authored. I'm sorry, just put it up again. Sorry. So Terri co-authored. So it's Success as a Real Estate Agent for Dummies. And as we know, the Dummies brand is an amazing brand of book. And I'm so jealous that Terri got this thing, because I've done books as well. I would have loved a Dummies book. So you are absolutely, I'm so jealous and amazing. And it's amazing content in here as well. So today you're going to be talking about some of the things that are in your book. And then I've also got my real estate club. So I'm going to be going through some of those things as well. So when you don't have listings and you haven't got anything to sell, what do? Do you sit on the lounge and go, this is really awful and I'm going to blame everybody? And maybe if I just sit here and wish, somebody might ring me up and say they want to sell a property? Or do you spend $2,000 a month on a lead generation company to try and get you leads while you sit on your backside and do nothing? Or do you actually proactively try and find listings? Yes, that's what we do. That's why we get paid the big bucks. We get paid for, creating business that didn't exist as well. If you are just an order taker, you are just sitting in your office waiting for somebody to walk in and blaming the office because the leads aren't coming in and you're not getting leads. I'm sorry, you're a real estate agent, but you're an order taker. You've got to create business that didn't exist before. That is your job, right? So look for opportunities. So the first opportunity we're going to be talking about is, as I said, withdrawn from sale. So I've got a whole lot of things that I want to talk about. So what did you want to say first about that, Terri?
I just think in a market where you don't have a lot of listings, and at the moment, I think it's difficult. Everyone's a little bit worried about, should I sell my house? What if I don't, make money in the stock account, whatever. And it is difficult. So if I could just quickly go back to when I changed agencies, I went from one particular suburb into another one, but I went to a different agency. So I had no listings. I had some referrals, but they didn't want to deal with the new company. So suddenly I just had no pipeline at all. And that was a bit scary for me. So what I had to do was think of another strategy. In my previous office, I would be getting a whole lot of appraisals, etc., appointments from open houses. That was my main source of appraisals and listings. But in the new office, I didn't have any open houses, so that didn't work. So it was either find something different or get out of the industry. So I kind of thought through and I focused on what Lisa is really excited to be talking with you about today, which was expired listings and withdrawn listings, and also for sale by owner. Now, those three different tactics, and I think today we're just going to talk about
withdrawn from sales.
But the main thing about that is they are motivated. They have been on the, you're just not cold door knocking and saying, do you want to sell your house or something? For some reason they were motivated to sell their house.
Yes.
And the only reason it didn't sell, there are always three reasons why a house doesn't sell. Number one, the price does not meet what the market is saying. Number two, the marketing has been inadequate or just bad. And number three, it's the agent's fault. The agent has not committed to focusing on that sale. Maybe they've got too many listings. I actually got listings by saying, something about some of the really high profile agents. I say, look, they've got 40 listings. I've just got yours. Let me focus on yours because I can do it. Let's work out what went wrong the first time and let's see how we can fix this. I won't work on the other 39. Let me just focus on yours.
Yeah.
And without exception, I would get it and get the appraisal. Often I had to take it for a shorter period because I think they're usually a little bit burned off.
Yeah.
Agent. Yeah. And they would be going, oh, why would I give it to you for another 3 months? So I would say, look, just let's do 1 month. Let me show you how I work. I'll be in touch all the time. We'll be feeding back. We'll be talking about it. I'll bring you all the offers in writing. And at the end of the month, if you're not happy with my service, totally goodbye. You just let me go. So that's how I would work. That was my take on it, Lisa.
And you know what? Maybe the other agent wasn't honest with the vendor either. They weren't honest about the price or the presentation, their expectations. And so coming in as a second or third agent, I used to love that because you could be honest and say, look, I'm really sorry, but I don't think the other agent was actually maybe telling you what you need to hear. If I think if I've got a house and it smells like cat urine, I will tell the seller it smells like cat urine. I'm sorry, but it does. If it's going to affect the price or it being sold, I have to tell you. If there's something that is wrong with this property, I'm going to be the bad guy and I'm going to tell you, but I'm actually going to be the good guy because if you don't know, you're not going to be able to move forward and sell your property. So I think, saying right up front, if you choose me as your agent, I'm going to be deadly honest with you. And I hope you appreciate that because my goal is to get the property sold. It's not to sugarcoat, oh my gosh, Terri, your house is beautiful and it's worth $1 million when it needs a couple of things done to it. It's worth 900,000. You know what I mean? And that's the ideal opportunity to do that. And as you said, they're in real estate mode or they have been in real estate mode. So somebody that's coming new into real estate, it's an ideal opportunity because you can see what price they were on at. There's the photos of the properties, so you can you've got an idea and understanding of where they were at and where they could be now. So the property could be worth more now than when they're on the market. So, it's a really good, you've got a lot of information that you wouldn't have had if it wasn't on the market.
That's exactly right. And also the most common question I would get, well, what makes you different?
Yeah.
Like I've already had XYZ and it didn't sell. So how do you think you could sell it? Yeah. So what I would say, we really need to sit down. I can't tell you that in one little conversation because at this stage, I don't really know. However, there are 3, and I wouldn't go through that, but I'll say there are only 3 reasons that your house hasn't sold.
Yeah.
So when can we sit down together and let's go through each of these in detail?
Yeah.
So what's a good time for you? I would just do the assumptive, like, okay, I really want to help, but what's a good time?
Yeah, that's right.
Do that.
And that's what a lot of agents don't do is close. That's what our job is. We have to close. We have to, if you don't ask for the business, you're not going to get it. If you don't say, okay, Terri, so all we need to do now is get the paperwork started. And so all I do is fill in this form. It doesn't give me permission to sell the property. It gives me permission to market the property. So, I'll just get that started now. So what's your full name, Terri? And so and they'll go, oh, no, I don't want to do that or whatever. I would assume, as you said, that they are going to list with me. If they've given every indication, then I would assume that they're going to sell. Now, some of the things withdrawn from sale, it might be that an agent's sign's gone down. Okay, so a reason that a property has come off the market, obviously it could be sold. It could be that the seller's circumstances have changed, so they've decided they don't want to sell anymore. They might have had a bad experience, as you said. They've decided maybe to lease the property, or they don't want a for sale sign. Maybe it's been on the market too long and they're still in a current agency agreement, but the sign's come down or the agent's sign blew away or whatever. So that's different things that different reasons why a sign could come down. But I would approach the sellers based on that. If there's no sign up, now you and I are a little bit different and we'll talk about expired listings later. That's this. Which I love. And Terri and I are going to have some debates about things. And Terri's going to say whatever she thinks, and I'm going to say whatever I think.
And I think that's important, Lisa, for any agents who are listening to realise that you're individual. The way Lisa works may not be exactly how I work, but in the same respect, maybe Lisa, Terri Cooper, she will appeal to a seller who perhaps wouldn't want me, or vice versa. So yeah, we can give you tips and
Yeah,
strategies, but you must be yourself. Do it
yeah,
in the way that feels
that's
right
right.
to you. We're just
That's
giving you
right.
an outline.
Exactly. And you know what? You might have different ideas. Other agents have got different ideas and they'll go, Terri,
Mm,
I agree with you. And then people
yeah,
go, I agree with you, Lisa. Like we're so
exactly.
different. And it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I never liked auctions. Okay. I mean, obviously in the boom, I would have done auctions, like what
yeah,
things that I saw around, I actually would have done auctions, I believe.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But back in my market, I did the opposite of what everybody was doing and didn't do auctions. So, you know, it's everybody does things differently and you've got to do you and what you're comfortable with. If you hate
yeah.
doing it, you're not going to want to do it. And it's the same with
Oh,
prospecting. If
yeah,
you
yeah,
if you hate phone prospecting, picking up the phone and ringing 100 people, you're not going to do it. If I say to you to just aimlessly door knock 100 houses and you've got no reason to door knock, you're not going to do it. So you've got
yeah,
to pick a prospecting source that you actually like and that you're going to do. I think that's really important as well. So as I said, you've got Terri's book, that book that you can get as a resource, which has got all of your different prospecting. And then also we've got my real estate club. If you're interested in that, let me know. That's by invitation only, and I can let people know about that as well. Now I've got a couple of letters. Or do you want to talk about the process of how you would approach a withdrawn from sale? Let's see how
yeah.
uh,
Yeah, definitely. I think really, really important to use your CRM. You
yeah,
know, you have to have things documented. So, and in most agencies, you would have a territory. Some don't, like
yeah,
where Lisa and I are, we don't, but most do.
yeah,
So I would be looking every time a property in that area, it goes up because it comes up on realestate.com, or
yeah,
as you drive around, I would drive around with my little notebook and I would write down, oh, that one's for sale. I would actually keep a calendar of when those places went on the market, right?
yeah,
And then I would also check each couple of days or even once a week on the sold. Go to the REA and look at what's been sold.
yeah,
Okay. And then as you drive around, obviously, if they've been sold, agents are really proud to put a sold sign on.
yeah, that's right.
You go around and cross that off because that's gone. But you must keep a lid on it, you know, and also too, once it comes to the 30 days or, you know, you see that it's expired or sold or been withdrawn from sale, you must ring them and check that, as you said, Lisa, it's just
Mm.
not that there's no sold sign.
Yes.
Just so I've noticed that your house has been on the market, you know, since March. How's that been going? And
Yeah.
they would go, oh, hopeless, hopeless, didn't sell. Or they'd go, oh, actually, we've got a few, you know, whatever. But listen to what they say. And if they say, no, definitely I'm not with that agent, there was a bad experience, say, look, okay, I've actually got a different strategy. I'm just wondering, are you still wanting to sell? Because
Yeah.
I would get that straight first. I don't want to be prospecting someone who's not selling. And
Yeah.
if they go, oh, yes, absolutely, but, you know, what's the point? And I would go, look, actually, I work a bit differently to a lot of agents. Would you mind if I popped around to have a chat with you? There's only a couple of reasons why your house didn't sell. If you
Mhm.
still want to sell, let me come around and let's see what we can do for it.
Yeah. And
And
who
then I'd be
who
quiet.
who
Listen.
wouldn't, if you said that to me, of course I'd go, all right. You know, because you've got that way about you. You know, you're very personal and it comes across as that you want to help me. So
Yeah.
I think
And
that's
also to,
as
sorry,
well.
Liz, I was thinking it's really important that you say, from my experience, I know for sure if you really want to sell, there's only 3 reasons that your house hasn't sold. And I would love to go over that with you.
Yeah. And then they're
Once
curious.
then they're curious, you
Mm,
know, so don't tell them what they are then.
mm.
Otherwise, it's just like, oh, I'm wondering, can I come and talk to you? And they go, oh, yes, you're just like all the others.
Yeah.
But you're going to give them 3 really good pieces of information, then they can decide if they want to go ahead or not.
And dissect, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've got some letters that we can, and also to what we spoke about yesterday, Terri, was make sure the laws in your area, whether it's a do not
Yes.
register, you know, if somebody's got a sign out the front that says no door knocking, be very
Yes.
careful because there's agents that have been sued because of that.
Mm.
So just be very careful of your area, know the laws in your area and all that sort of thing as well. So just a bit of a disclaimer. So
Yes.
I've got one here, a letter that we can either hand deliver or whatever.
Okay.
Dear such and such, hi, my name is such and such. I'm writing to ask you for your help. I believe that you had your home for sale a while ago, and as far as I'm aware, I don't recall that you sold. The reason for my letter is that I was wondering if you would still consider selling. I would like to discuss a strategy with you that involves buyers in my database. This strategy could help you sell your home for a great price if you're interested. I specialize in your area and we have sold many homes around your home. And should you wish to sell, I feel certain I can help you obtain a great price. Please phone me on exit. I look forward to meeting you. Okay, so you can tailor make these, to fit yourself and put them in your words. I'm just giving you an idea. Anyway, so you get the idea. So you can tailor make that to yourself and put it into your words, and then you can drop that off underneath the door or whatever you want to do. So, and then I would probably go and door knock the house first. I'd have that letter in my hand. If they're not home, then you could put something under the door. It might just be a business card. Could you please call me when you get a chance? Put that under there. Then it might be another door knock a couple of days later and put that letter underneath. And then it might be following up with a phone call if you have their number, and you can get that possibly from ID for me or whatever else. So I would make it'd be a 3 or 4 point piece of contact with that person. And then I would put them in my follow-up as well. And then I do probably letterbox drops around that street the next week or whatever, not only their house, the whole street. So I would make it that person gets to know me.
That's right, because they have to see that you're active.
Yeah.
Because I think, a lot of Asians, they come in with even a letter like that, but nobody ever heard of them before. So they have to go, oh, that's that girl that I see. I'll see her picture or whatever it is. And then they connect you, because it's all about, they want to know, like, and trust you, especially because today we're talking about withdrawals. They've obviously had a bad experience. Something hasn't worked. So often they're in a bad frame of mind. They're not really wrapped in agents, they're worried because their house hasn't got the right price. So the more you can give them those points of contact, the better.
Yeah, absolutely.
The better.
Yeah, absolutely. As you said, work on a way that they can like you, know you, trust you. And the first thing is knowing you. So anybody that is going to do business with you these days, especially, is going to Google you before they have you out. So make sure your social media presence is one that you are proud of, that shows who you are. That, and everybody's different. Everybody's got different interests. And I used to think that everybody had to be like me. When I had my office, it'd be like, oh my gosh, they're saying this, they're saying that, or whatever. But it's like they're going to attract their tribe as well, so it's, be you, be real, just be professional, and, make sure that you're representing yourself on the outside to the public the way that you want to be known for in the industry as well.
So Lisa, in your experience then, for an agent who's sort of going to themselves, okay, so, but on my Facebook, I've got my family and my dog and everything like that. How would you approach that? Would you not be so personal on your social media?
I still do that. No, I still do that, because that shows, like, I've got friends, a guy named Steve, and he's a, NRL follower, whatever, I know the team he follows, I know such and such has got different cars, different people. And it's like, that makes you relatable. I wouldn't make it all business. Like, business is supposed to be fun as well. And people are so much, stuffed shirts. I was never, ever like that. I would always tell a joke, have fun, make it very relaxed and very chill. And, the person that I am now is the person I am when I'm presenting. I'm not a different person. It's like who I am, and you take me as I am, it's like I've got a bit of a warped sense of humor sometimes. And, I put that on my page, and I relate to people that are like that. They would relate to me. So I think And I was never the one, and you might be different, but I always wanted people to leave photos of their family around the house. I sold so many houses, and especially because I was from Wollongong, so it's a very, very small, it's a city, but it's very small. So people would come in and go, oh, is that John? Oh my God, I know John. Yeah, John works at here. And then all of a sudden they trust that house because they trust John. So I was never one to take photos down, ever, ever, ever. And to me, that makes it relatable. It's like, people's children, and what sort of dog they've got and all that sort of thing. So no, I intermingle it. Obviously, don't go, I'm not one where it's, oh my gosh, I've just split up with my husband and this has happened and it on me and blah, 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 blah.
It has to be positive.
Yes. I'm not one to tell all on social media like some people do. And just know that if you do that, then, people could judge things and whatever. But it's totally up to you. Do you do what's right for you? Personally, I wouldn't, but it's really up to people how they want to represent themselves. You just got to think. Yeah.
And can I just say one other thing? You said about how when you go to, a client, you're the same as what you are now. I think it's really important. Have a look at your business card. If the photo on your business card is from 20 years ago,
That's
get another
typical real
photo.
estate.
Yeah, I know, it's terrible. Like, and you sort of go, oh, hello, like, hang on, I'm just pretending, just a sec. I'm Terri Cooper, da da da. Okay, get card. I'm Terri Cooper, here's my
Yeah.
card. And there's no, I mean,
And
I've
they go,
never
that
done it,
doesn't
but
look
I've
like
seen
you.
it and they go, oh, okay. Now that just immediately says you're fake.
Yeah.
Immediately says that you're not upfront. And if you were fake with your own photo,
Yeah.
what else are you going to be focused
Yeah.
on? So
Yeah.
even though you might have aged 20 years or something, you will get people who relate to that rather than a 50-year-old lady who looks like she's 20.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
kind of think that's only a little thing, but I think it's kind of a big thing.
Yeah. You know what I did years ago, Terry? It was probably about 20 years ago. It was, oh no, it would have been less than that. It was after I had Max. And I needed to get new photos done for my website. And I was like, oh, I had a small baby, like he wasn't sleeping. I was tired, I still had a bit of baby fat and whatever. And it was like, I just can't get photos done. I just can't. I just can't. I don't have to get my hair done, my makeup done, and, clothes and whatever. So I got somebody, a graphic designer, to put my head on somebody else's body, and I put that on my website. And it was like, it was the best thing ever. And probably with AI now, you could do it even better. But I was like, I'm just not doing it. I'm not going to do that. I just haven't got the capability to do that. So that's what I did. So I had my head, which was okay because it was only just from before I had Max, and then I just put on somebody else's body. So I made it look like mine, like it was, it took me a while to find it and, whatever. And then just put my head on that body. So, there's different things that you can do as well. It was fake, but I made it look real. But anyway, yeah. So no, definitely. So Withdrawn From Sale. So that's one of our little golden nuggets of just put all the excuses aside in life and just focus on the results. And there's lots of different ways that you can get listings. And Terri and I will be going through lots more of these. And as I said, you've got the resource of the Real Estate Club and you've got the resource of Terri's book. So reach out to if you've got any questions or anything like that, or write them down in the comments here. And that'll be great. So we'll see you next time, Terri.
Okay, thanks, Lisa.
All
Bye,
right,
everyone.
thanks for coming. Thanks. Thank you for listening to Let's Talk About Real Estate podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you have a question about real estate, then please join the group on Facebook, also called Let's Talk About Real Estate. For those of you who are interested in EXP, please join us at 10 a.m. Brisbane time every Wednesday morning for EXP Explained. Thank you again for joining us, and don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, and see you next week.